Welcome back to the Reality of Entertainment. I'm your host, Camila Arambula, and I'm also available on Twitter at Camila Arambula. Happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you always, even during the middle of a pandemic. Fans across the world, and myself included, are celebrating this holiday in the comforts of their own home. Disney Plus also just dropped an epic trailer called Star Wars The Skywalker Saga to celebrate in the celebrations for May the 4th. Unfortunately, it's not a new movie release, but it does highlight iconic scenes from the Star Wars trilogies, all the way starting with A New Hope and running through The Rise of Skywalker, which was released in 2019. The visuals were powerful as Disney chose the most iconic scenes from throughout the Star Wars trilogy. Unfortunately, fans did notice that Disney only highlighted the more recent movies rather than the older movies from the beginning of the trilogy. However, all is well with Disney Plus because Disney Plus released the trailer in order to celebrate the release of The Return of Skywalker on Disney Plus on May 4th, 2 months early before it was released on DVD and Blu-ray. But Star Wars isn't the only thing trending right now. John Krasinski, star of a little show called The Office, released his own news segment called Some Good News, which highlights good news from all over the world. The news segment comes out each week on Sunday, and I highly recommend tuning in on YouTube. In last week's episode, John Krasinski celebrated this year's 2020 graduates and even featured Oprah on this week's episode. In times of crisis like these, it's so important to be mindful of the content you're consuming on a daily basis, and that's why I recommend watching Some Good News by John Krasinski. Toronto-based singer and rapper Drake recently shut down the music industry with his new mixtape, Dark Lane Demo Tapes. The mixtape was highly well received by fans as fans were desperate to hear new music in this time of quarantine. The mixtape also features well-known artists like Playboi Carti, Chris Brown, as well as Future. But that won't be the last we hear from Drake anytime soon, as he recently announced on Instagram that he'll be releasing his 6th studio album in summer 2020. His most popular song from the mixtape is definitely Tootsie Slide, as it reached number 1 on the top 100 Billboard chart this past week. Tootsie Slide is also the next big TikTok hit, as fans have created their own dance sequence to dance to the song. Now that we were all in quarantine, now is the perfect time to pick up a new hobby or activity that you have always been interested in to try in, because now is the time. Of course, just as a disclaimer, you don't have to be productive and learn a new skill. If you're simply surviving and going throughout day-to-day life, that is perfectly okay as well. That being said, however, I do have a few suggestions if you'd like to learn a new hobby or skill throughout your time in quarantine. My first suggestion would be to learn a new language. Many of us wonder and want to learn to become bilingual, trilingual, etc., but never have the time. Now is the time. If you've always wanted to learn a language, now is the time. Duolingo offers free lessons for over 15 languages, and it's super easy to start, so I recommend starting now. Personally, I have been brushing up on my Spanish skills in order to become bilingual, as well as brushing up on my sign language skills, a language I learned when I was in elementary. My suggestion would be to dive into a creative hobby that you've always wanted to try. You can practice creativity in many ways, as some popular hobbies include calligraphy, coloring, painting, watercolor, and more. Personally, I have been using a coloring book, and it helps to relieve stress, and I've also been painting. I've been following Bob Ross painting tutorials, and they have Bob Ross painting sets on Amazon, and I find it a lot of fun. If you have any other suggestions on ways you can stay productive and keep your mind occupied during this pandemic, feel free to leave them down below. Believe it or not, I'm gonna go work on my painting. Bob Ross is calling my name. Thanks for catching up with Reality and Entertainment today. I'm Camila Rambula. Back to you guys at the desk.
Michael Randall reporting live, hoping everyone is having a wonderful day and staying healthy during this quarantine process. A lot has been happening in the past few months, especially in more populated states like California, the most populated state in America, home of the beautiful beaches and sunny weather. Everything's not too beautiful down in Huntington area due to the one and only virus. There has been a spike of coronavirus cases in the Huntington area due to the protesters flooding Huntington Beach. This all comes after Governor Newsom's order to close all beaches. Around 2,500 to 3,000 protesters showed up to fight against the governor's decision, according to the Huntington Beach Police Chief Robert Handy. The majority of protesters are crowded around Huntington's popular pier, and most of them not wearing the vital resources to protect yourself from such virus. Some people believe that Governor Newsom was targeting and singling out individual counties and providing misleading photographs depicting packed beaches along the coastline. After Newsom's shutdown, the city held an emergency town hall meeting quickly after the closing of beaches. Orange County's accounted for 2,636 confirmed cases, and after this protest now rises to 2,743. The increase could have been well prevented, but a lot of citizens believe that their rights are more important than health at the moment. Some citizens believe that COVID-19 is not a problem in the area and that shutting down beaches is not going to decrease the spread of the virus. Along with the new cases, 2 coronavirus-related fatalities have upped the death toll to 52. Since citizens believe that they have the right to go to the beach, the right to work, and Governor Newsom is not letting them exercise that right. Does opening the beach solve any problems with the virus? Do American citizens need to protest just to relax on the sand? Is Governor Newsom at fault for trying to stop the spread of COVID-19 as much as possible? I hope everyone stays safe, and thank you. This has been Michael Randall with National News. Here's Levi with International News.
Thanks for kicking it over to me, Michael. I am Levi Hawley, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about the international news. First big story. Kim Jong-un comes back from the dead. As reported by BBC, a South Korean spy has stated that Kim Jong-un did not have heart surgery as first expected. No. He was actually in hiding due to the fears of the coronavirus. He was publicly seen opening up a fertilizer warehouse where cheering and clapping commenced amongst mass participants. Speaking of Kim Jong-un, he actually received a World War II commemorative medal. Why, you may ask? A World War II medal? Well, it's because he kept the Soviet spirits or Soviet soldiers' honor, something along the lines of that, in North Korea. He honored them for the lives lost in North Korea, or North Korean territory. I'd now like to move on to China and talk about missing journalists. 3 went missing, 2 haven't come back. First, Fang Bin. Fang Bin's a Wuhan businessman. First video uploaded, it didn't garner much attention. It garnered 100 views. Second one, he garnered 200,000 views. He recorded a minibus outside of a Wuhan hospital with 8 bodies inside of it. The authorities said, essentially, to chill out with your content, that this can spark some fears. In a 13-second video clip, he essentially said, "Give the power back to the people." Ever since then, he's been missing. He's disappeared, thanks to the Chinese Communist Party. The next journalist I'd like to talk about is Chen Qiushi. He has documented the Hong Kong protests, and his social media, his Chinese social media account, has garnered 700,000 subscribers. And since then, it has been deleted for his coverage of the coronavirus. He has a YouTube channel with close to 500,000 subscribers and a Twitter account with just a little over 250,000 followers. Sorry. He has gone dark because he has been covering the coronavirus. He said that he would try and keep the truth, but it has been revealed by his mother that he has actually disappeared, and they fear he was taken by China, or the Chinese government. Next, I'd like to speak on France. Why, you may ask? Well, the same reason anyone's speaking these days. COVID-19, otherwise known as the coronavirus. It was discovered that there's actually cases earlier than we thought. the first one they found was actually the 27th of December. Absolutely insane. Who says that we should expect to see more cases or earlier cases of COVID-19 coming to light that were being marked for pneumonia and other such lung diseases? And you may be going, well, ooh, that's bad for them, but at least it's not here. Well, it was here. Yeah. This article by the BBC was published on May 5th, 2020. And I'd just like to say that 2 weeks earlier in California, they have discovered that there was a death about a month earlier to the first reported COVID-19 death that had taken place. So it has been around for a lot longer than we think. So my suggestion is to wear a mask and gloves. Be safe. On that happy note, we're going to go and move over to Jordan for some local news.
An article written by the Bakersfield Californian talks about how the low gas prices throughout this COVID-19 pandemic has been affecting people here in Kern County. Now, over the past weeks, it dropped to 62 cents, stated in the heading of the article. Now, Bakersfield is known for, Kern County is known for two things, and it's oil and agriculture. And many people in the oil fields, due to low prices and throughout the demand of people actually using it, were losing their jobs because of that. Throughout the 8-week span, the gas prices kept going down 32 cents, about 18 cents a gallon. Right now, the lowest price you can find it on, according to the article on Gas Buddies, you can find gas as low as under $2 in the city. It keeps declining. It's gonna keep declining throughout the years going into April, and as the pandemic continues, because there's not as much use of gas throughout airport. An article written by the Bakersfield Californian talked about how Arvin wanted to apply hemp in their farmlands. Now, they originally had hemp in their farmlands. They had over $1 billion destroyed. The article talks about how the city saw potential that this herb can be used to gain them more money, gain them more finance throughout within their city. They have to go through talks about them having to go through the legal progress, them having to use the paleo, which helps them make this legal in their state and throughout their county, but also how they want to push hemp not only in Arvin, but they want to push it in other regions in Kern County, Bakersfield. Hemp can be used, whether it's used in many different variety of ways. The article talks about it can be used in diesel. It's used on plants. Bakersfield Californian talks about how Kern County wants to reopen its economy. After months of the pandemic, this Wednesday they're going to have a vote by the city council to go over the improvements if the certain areas in the economy in Kern County should be reopened. The article stated that Governor Newsom is slowly working to develop many different cities throughout the state, opening up their economy at a steady pace. The meeting on Wednesday will determine if local businesses throughout the area will be able to reopen their doors after many months of being shut down due to this pandemic. It also states the homeless center, how it was built last year. It's going to be able to house more residents, house more people, because there's many different people on the streets due to the coronavirus pandemic. An article written by KGT 17 News talks about how Bakersfield College is going to implement 4 free non-essential business credit courses. These courses were designed to help people get back in the workforce during the COVID-19 pandemic because several millions of people, especially here in Kern County, lost their jobs. And the purpose of this is for them to rebuild and gain new skills that they can apply in the workforce. They're offering courses that are being able to be completed in about 9 hours, 2 weeks, and an 18-week course that can be completed in less than a week, 4 days. The different types of courses are in food service, sanitation practices, customer service, Microsoft processing,